2020 has been one of the weirdest years, but it has taught me 10 things that I'm certain you will benefit from as well. And we will talk about them in this video. But first, I want to remind you that I have a free book to give away on my website. So just go ahead to the link below, storyartist.me, and you will get the free ebook and video course, Storyteller's Blueprint, where you will learn things like the most important question you need to answer to live a happy and creative life, the 4 essential principles of storytelling, minimalistic platform building, and much, much more. Number 1, you have no control about what happens around you. This might be obvious, but 2020 has shown me that this is really true. The thing is, we spend over 80 or 90% of our time trying to control the things around us, trying to control the people around us and how they behave, how they react, what they do, trying to control the circumstances that we cannot control. But the thing is, we just can't control the things that happen around us, the things that other people do. What we can control, though, is our own reactions, our own inner and emotional life, and what we do with the things that get thrown at us. This is why I don't watch the news, for example, because all those things that are presented there to me are things that I can't control, and they make me feel helpless. So I just don't do this. Instead, I listen to books, to podcasts, I read books that help me learn to control the things that I can change in my own life. The same thing about people. I stopped, or at least I'm trying to stop, to control other people, to control what they do. Instead, I really want to stop blaming people for how I feel, because I get to control how I feel. I get to control how I react to things, what I think about stuff, how I get to control my mindset, essentially, about different things that get thrown at me. And this is the only thing we can control: our reactions, our behaviors, and what we think. So stop trying to control your circumstances and the things around you that you have no control over. And instead, try changing and start changing the things that you can change about yourself, about how you react, about your health, your job, and whatever you wish you would change a long time ago but still haven't. This is the thing that you can actually control and should do something about. Number 2, life is short. The year has flown by, and many things have happened this year that actually showed me that we don't have all the time in the world like we tend to assume when we're caught up in our everyday lives. Tragedies have happened to people around me, to good friends of mine, and I lost people this year, and I really understood that life is really short. It's too short to be living a compromise. It's too short to just throw away your hours, your precious hours of time, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, to a job that you hate. It's just too short, and I know that many people don't have the choice for now, but we can strive for that. We can strive and make the bold step, take the risk to improve what we don't like. Life's too short to postpone the things that you want to do. Life's too short to not enjoy what you have already. So embrace that, and instead write that book, start that YouTube channel, do whatever you always wanted to do without being afraid, without postponing it and thinking, I might do it next year. I still have time. Life's too short to be living a compromise. Number 3, happiness is found in becoming. So happiness is actually a process, and I feel like society is trying to sell us something different, that the society of consumerism, we get the impression that if we travel there, or if we buy that thing, if we get that piece of equipment or that piece of clothing, we will be happier. And we actually are for a short period of time, but it never fills us to the extent that we think it will. So we go and search for the next thing. And I really found that in this year, when I was left alone, let's say left alone with my thoughts, when I couldn't go out and do the things that I like to do, when I couldn't travel, when I couldn't go out as much to fancy restaurants or movies or adventure parks. I was left alone with me, my family, my apartment, and I found that this can bring happiness as well, and actually even more than when we spend money on stuff. And by the end of the year, I embraced minimalism, at least tried it to some extent, and it really gave me freedom. It gave me freedom to not be on this hamster wheel of consuming, buying, getting, but instead of doing that, instead of having stuff in my life, I gave a lot of stuff away. And I embraced the culture of minimalism, of not buying things, of not needing something for happiness, but instead having this happiness of becoming. So happiness is not something we can get. It's not a destination. It's actually someone we will become. So I really, really cherished that principle, especially in light of this crazy year that we actually, last year we thought things are pretty bad and everybody was complaining, and then it got worse and we got to realize, okay, last year wasn't that bad at all. It can get worse. And I think we just have to embrace this attitude of having joy and being happy with what we have already, because we don't know what's coming. And other things that we think might make us happy actually won't. The journey is in the becoming, in the moment. And this is what I understood really, really, in a different light this special year. Number 4, there is no security. And I think everybody knew that to a certain extent, but we still like to bathe in this illusion that some jobs are secure, some things are secure. If you just get that education and you become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, that you will have a secure job. But I think this year taught us that no job is secure and every system can break down. There is no such thing as security, but deriving from that, we actually might get more courage to try out new things, to embrace those things that others have deemed as unreliable or insecure for a very long time, like digital careers in the digital market, careers as authors and creatives. And I think these are the possibilities that opened up before us, things that were really seen as very insecure and very like, let's take indie publishing, for example. Many indie publishers have seen a rise in their revenue this year. On the other hand, traditional published authors, which I'm really sad about, they have seen a decline in their earnings because traditional publishers had a very difficult year because of bookshops closing. On the other hand, those people who invested in the digital market and in ebooks have seen a rise in their revenue. So what do we have here? What do we see here? That the traditional route, and this is what I mean, many things that were traditionally secure have now become very insecure. And we have seen that these systems have broken down or are about to break down. And I think this will increase in the coming years. So invest in future technologies. Don't be afraid of the future. Don't be afraid of what's coming. Instead, embrace it. Don't be afraid to go the non-traditional route. Do something different that people deem as insecure, but on the other hand might become the smart choice in the next year. Number 5, know the market first. So as a creative person, I started with creativity. I wrote from the heart. I finished my trilogy this year, which is actually a great accomplishment. But I realized when I finished it now, as I think 3 or 4 years of my creative career have gone by, I realized that I didn't write it for a market. I didn't put a single thought into how I would market this trilogy. Is there even a market for it? What is the market? What is the genre? What are the readers? What do they look like? I didn't study the market. I just wrote. And I think this is where many creatives go wrong. Study the market, know the market. And I would even go as far as saying know the market first. Is there even a market for what you want to do? Who are those people? What do they want? Now that I will start writing a new series in the new year, I will look at the whole thing in a completely different light. Believe me, I will study the market. I will think about packaging and marketing first. And this doesn't mean that I'm selling out, because what I will write will still be from the heart, will still be something that I will enjoy, that is absolutely me, that is unique and creative. But on the other hand, I will go with it like hand in hand with the marketing, with the market, and knowing the readers, knowing what they want, knowing how I want to market that series. And parallelly, I will invest all of my creative energy, all of my uniqueness, my thoughts, and yeah, even the themes that I care about into these books as well. But you have to know the market. This is what I absolutely realized this year as I finished my trilogy and started marketing it. You have to know it. You have to know where your product, your creative product fits in and how you want to package it. Number 6, stop playing the numbers game. Everybody wants you to play the numbers game. It's all around us as creatives, especially. How many subscribers do you have? How many followers do you have? How many YouTube subscribers do you have? Instagram followers, email list subscribers, and so on. We all are deemed to play the numbers game, but I really encourage you, don't feel this pressure to play this game. Because behind every single number is one single individual, one single person. Instead, go for real connections. Go for the deeper connections that you have with the people. Try to learn who they are. Try to communicate with them. Answer their comments, their emails. Be honest, be genuine. This connection is what will fuel your business, your creativity, and what will also give you your super fans, your tribe. When people see that you are honest, that you are authentic, that you want to communicate with people, and that you want to look them digitally in the eye and know what they care about, what are their problems, how you can help them, and so on. Stop playing the numbers game and instead look for genuine, real connections with your people, with your tribe. Number 7, have an email list. This is where the true connection lies, especially when we look at what's happening with Facebook, Instagram, and so on, that they're facing huge lawsuits right now. We don't know when they will end up. Accounts get banned, you can lose all of your followers, you don't know what's going to happen unless you have an email list. And the perk with an email list, of course, is that you also have this bonus of trust. There's something psychological about email, and we have learned this in the interview with David Cochran. If you haven't listened to it, go ahead and do this, because this is so highly helpful when it comes to email and building a following. But we have learned that email is psychologically the one thing that converts best, because it gives you some kind of trustworthiness and it gives you some kind of connection. So have an email list, grow this email list, not only, like I said before, with the numbers quantitatively, but in quality. Look that your email list has a high open rate, has a high click rate. Clean up this email list regularly so that you don't have people in there that don't open and don't read your emails. You want true connection. You want people that open these emails because you're paying for them, essentially. Clean up this email list. Don't be afraid to have a small email list, but one that has an amazing open and click rate, for example. This is where you want to get, and you need to build your email list further and further in 2021. One that converts and one that is high in quality. Number 8, build solid habits. So habits are what has saved me in 2020, because things have been thrown upside down. But what I realized is that if you have a habit, even if you can't practice this the way you used to, if the habit is really solid, you will find other ways to practice it. For example, I used to work out in the gym all the time, but then gyms got closed. Like right now, all of our gyms are closed. I still do my workouts and I do them at home. I got some weights for home and I still practice my habit, and it's not a problem at all. Yes, you have to adjust, but if you don't have solid habits, these things that shake up your world will actually, yeah, they will destroy your habits. They will make sure that you stop working out, that you stop creating, that you stop writing. So have solid habits that can withstand those shakeups around you. Have habits that will be able to adapt to the changes around you. Number 9, have a creative business plan and an action plan for the year. So this year I have done the Author Business Plan by Joanna Penn course, and have finally wrote my business plan. And I don't mean a business plan that has to have all these steps like real businesses do. It's a business, this is why I call it a creative business plan. It's a business plan basically for you, for your creativity and for your creative entrepreneurship. And this has helped me immensely because it made me realize what what all of my branches are, what all of my streams of income are, where I want to be, where I want to double down on, and what I want to quit and stop doing. The business plan has given me a perspective about what I want to do with my creative business and how I also need to focus on the market, what I want to produce next year, and so on. And this is why I planned my year in increments. I planned it in quarters, 12 weeks each. And about that, I will talk in more detail about how to plan your year in advance in the next video. And number 10, who would have thought stories are the only form of genuine connection and escape? And yes, it has been a challenging year for me emotionally, and I think for most of you, or probably all of you, because there were fears, things happened to us, people got laid off, people got sick. The world has changed in many, many ways, in ways we didn't even think were possible, actually, which I think brings up a lot of emotions. And when all of these happens, when tragedies happened in my life and in the life of people that are close to me, I wanted something that helped me escape and at the same time make sense of reality. And this is what stories are for. And I did escape into stories. I listened to audiobooks. I watched Netflix. Yes, I admit that. But I really filter what I watch on Netflix. I read books. And all of these stories helped me get through this year. They helped me get new inspiration, new motivation. They helped me make sense of the things that happen around me. And they also helped me escape into something that would help me deal with the emotions and help me deal with this difficult year and what we don't even know what's coming ahead. But I know that stories are a great way and vehicle to escape and also to connect, because if we communicate in stories, we connect on an emotional level, on a completely different level than if we try to argue a point with logic. Because stories, as I always say, they are initially inside us. They are written in our DNA. They can touch people on a very emotional level. And this is why stories are the best, still are and will be the best form of communicating, of changing people's life, of finding your tribe, and of course of giving them an escape and help in difficult times. This is why I really encourage you to become a storyteller in whatever form. If you're a writer, if you're a YouTube creator, if you are even a marketer, become a storyteller. Learn how to tell great stories, how to communicate with stories, how to build stories that will connect to your audience, because stories are and will be the most important vehicle even in the next coming 10, 20, 30 years. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I wish you a very, very good 2021. Don't forget, we cannot control what this next year will throw at us, although we're all hoping, of course, that it will be better than 2020, because what can be worse than 2020? Although we have learned that things can always get worse, but of course we're hoping for the best. We cannot control what will happen, but we can control how we react, what we will do with it, and what we will make of this new coming year. And I hope you will make the best of it, and I hope you will finally tell that amazing story inside of you.